Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the dark and mysterious figures of Middle-earth. Today, we're diving into the lore of one of the most feared and terrifying villains in the entire Lord of the Rings saga. He's the leader of the Nazgul, Sauron's most trusted servant, and the very embodiment of terror on the battlefield. That's right, today we're talking about the Witch-King of Angmar. Who was he before he became the Witch-King? How did he rise to power? And what made him so terrifying that even the bravest of warriors trembled at his approach? Let's find out. To understand the Witch-King, we've got to go back to the Second Age of Middle-earth, when 9 powerful men were given rings of power by Sauron. These rings promised great power, but surprise, surprise, there was a catch. The rings gradually corrupted their wearers, turning them into wraiths, bound to the will of Sauron. The most powerful of these men, he became the Witch-King of Angmar, leader of the Nazgul and Sauron's right-hand man. His real name has been lost to history, but we know he was a king, a powerful sorcerer, and an ambitious man. Over time, the power of his ring twisted him into something far more sinister. He became a wraith, a shadow of his former self, neither living nor dead, existing only to serve his dark master. Fast forward to the Third Age, and the Witch-King establishes his kingdom in the frozen wastes of Angmar, north of the Misty Mountains. This wasn't just any kingdom. It was a dark, desolate place, filled with all manner of evil creatures. Trolls, orcs, wargs, you name it. Angmar had it. The Witch-King set up his stronghold in Khon Dum, a fortress at the far northern reaches of Angmar. From this stronghold, he began his campaign of terror against the northern kingdom of Arnor. Arnor, once a mighty kingdom founded by Elendil, had by this time fractured into 3 smaller, weaker realms: Arthedain, Cardolan, and Rhudaur. The Witch-King's goal: to exploit these divisions, destroy Arnor piece by piece, and pave the way for Sauron's dominance over all of Middle-earth. Arnor's division was a major turning point for the Witch-King's strategy. Instead of facing a united kingdom, he could now play each of these realms against the others. Rhudaur, the easternmost of the 3, was particularly vulnerable. It had become a realm of treachery and corruption, its leadership easily swayed by dark forces. The Witch-King wasted no time in seizing control of Rhudaur, installing a puppet ruler who was loyal to him. From there, he launched raids and skirmishes against the neighboring kingdoms of Arthedain and Cardolan, slowly wearing them down. But it wasn't just brute force. Oh no, the Witch-King was far more cunning than that. He used dark sorcery and deception, spreading fear and mistrust among the Dunedain of Arnor. His goal was to weaken them from within, making it easier to crush them when the time was right. The war between Angmar and Arnor wasn't a single battle. It was a long, drawn-out conflict that spanned centuries. The Witch-King's strategy was one of attrition, slowly grinding down Arnor's strength over time. He targeted each of the 3 kingdoms in turn, starting with Rhudaur, which fell under his control early on. Next, he turned his attention to Cardolan. The Witch-King unleashed his forces in a relentless assault, devastating the land and causing the fall of Amon-Sul, the great watchtower that housed one of the Palantiri. Cardolan struggled to hold on, but its people were eventually forced to retreat to the Barrow Downs, where they made their last stand. And here's where things get really creepy. After Cardolan's fall, the Witch-King sent evil spirits to inhabit the Barrow Downs, creating the Barrow Wights. These malevolent spirits haunted the ancient tombs, ensuring that no one would reclaim the land for the forces of good. With Rhudaur and Cardolan effectively neutralized, only Arthedain remained as the last bastion of the once great kingdom of Arnor. But the Witch-King's patience had paid off. Arthedain was weakened, isolated, and vulnerable. The Witch-King launched his final assault in the year 1974 of the Third Age, attacking the capital city of Fornost. Fornost, known as the Northern City, was overrun by the Witch-King's forces. The Dunedain of Arthedain fought bravely, but they were vastly outnumbered and overwhelmed. King Arvedwi, the last king of Arthedain, fled north to the icy wastes of Fornost, where he ultimately perished, along with the last remnants of his people. With the fall of Fornost, the Witch-King had finally achieved his goal. The kingdom of Arnor was no more. The Witch-King took up residence in Fornost, which became known as Dead Men's Dyke, a haunted, forsaken place under his dark rule. But the Witch-King's victory was short-lived. Word of Arnor's fall reached Gondor, and King Ernur of Gondor gathered a great host of men. Elves from Lindon led by Círdan, and dwarves from the Blue Mountains. Together they formed an alliance to drive the Witch-King out of the north once and for all. The Battle of Fornost was epic, a clash of light and darkness, with the forces of good determined to reclaim the north. The Witch-King, confident in his power, led his armies into battle. But this time he faced a foe he couldn't easily overcome. And then came Glorfindel, one of the mightiest elves remaining in Middle-earth. His arrival on the battlefield turned the tide against the Witch-King. In the chaos of battle, the Witch-King was defeated. Not slain, because wraiths can't be killed by conventional means, but driven back to Angmar. It was here that Glorfindel made his famous prophecy, "Far off yet is his doom, and not by the hand of man will he fall." A prophecy that would become all too real much later. After his defeat at Fornost, the Witch-King fled back to Mordor, where he remained hidden for centuries, biding his time. But just because he was out of sight didn't mean he was out of the game. In Mordor, he began rebuilding his strength, and in the year 2000 of the Third Age, he led the Nazgul in an assault on Minas Ithil, the fortress of Gondor that guarded the entrance to Mordor. Minas Ithil was captured after a 2-year siege, and it was transformed into a place of dread, becoming Minas Morgul, the Tower of Dark Sorcery. From this new stronghold, the Witch-King watched over Mordor and plotted his master's return to power. Minas Morgul became the very heart of darkness in the west, a place from which the Witch-King could strike fear into the hearts of Gondor's defenders. When Sauron learned that the One Ring had resurfaced, who do you think he sent to hunt it down? That's right, the Witch-King, along with the rest of the Nazgul. They set out from Minas Morgul, spreading terror wherever they went. The scene of them pursuing Frodo and the Fellowship is one of the most chilling in the entire trilogy. The Witch-King nearly succeeded in capturing the ring at Weathertop, where he stabbed Frodo with a Morgul blade, a weapon designed to turn its victim into a wraith, just like the Nazgul. If it weren't for the quick actions of Aragorn and the healing powers of Elrond, Frodo would have been lost. But the Witch-King's most infamous moment comes during the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. By this point, he's not just the leader of the Nazgul, he's the chief lieutenant of Sauron's forces, leading the charge against Minas Tirith. His presence on the battlefield is enough to send waves of fear through the hearts of even the bravest soldiers. In one of the most iconic moments in the series, the Witch-King confronts King Theoden of Rohan, leading to one of the most epic showdowns in all of fantasy literature. Theoden is mortally wounded, and it seems like the Witch-King is about to claim another victory. But then comes Eowyn. Disguised as a man, she steps in to protect her uncle, and in that crucial moment, the Witch-King's doom is sealed. She reveals herself as a woman, and with the help of Merry's strike to his leg, Eowyn delivers the final blow, fulfilling Glorfindel's prophecy. "I am no man," she declares, and with that, the Witch-King of Angmar is no more. The fall of the Witch-King marks a turning point in the War of the Ring. With his death, the power of the Nazgul is broken, and the tide of the battle begins to turn in favor of the Free Peoples. But even in death, the legacy of the Witch-King endures. He remains one of the most terrifying villains in Tolkien's legendarium, a symbol of what happens when power, ambition, and darkness consume a soul. His story is a tragic one, a tale of a king who sought power and, in the end, became nothing more than a shadow, a puppet of a greater evil. So, what does the Witch King represent in Tolkien's broader themes? Well, Tolkien often wrote about the corrupting nature of power, and the Witch King is the perfect embodiment of that idea. He was once a man, likely a king of great stature, but his desire for power led him down a dark path. In becoming the Witch King, he lost everything that made him human: his identity, his will, even his mortality. He became a wraith, bound forever to the will of Sauron. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the ultimate emptiness of power when it's gained through evil means. Even today, the Witch King remains one of the most iconic and feared villains in fantasy. His image, whether it's on the battlefield at Minas Tirith or chasing Frodo through the wilderness, continues to haunt the imaginations of fans around the world. He's a character that embodies fear and darkness, and his presence in the Lord of the Rings films only solidified his status as one of the most memorable villains in the genre. Whether it's his terrifying screech or the sight of him in full armor, the Witch King is a character that sticks with you long after the story is over. So that's the expanded story of the Witch King of Angmar, a tale of power, corruption, and ultimate downfall. What do you think? Was the Witch King doomed from the start, or did he have a choice in his fate? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the lore of Middle-earth, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more epic content, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, my fellow adventurers. Until next time, keep exploring the dark corners of Middle-earth.